I am in support of cutting taxes even though I'm a Democrat. Why? Do you make millions of dollars a year? Are you a corporation? I own stocks too. Oh my God. Bro, we're never getting anything good. I'm going to be honest with you. We're never getting anything good. Okay? Individual taxes also went down. Standard deduction was doubled. Brother, you are the reason why Republicans get to do whatever they want. Your taxes went down, let's say $1,000. Okay? Your taxes at the end of the year went down $1,000. Do you know how much the taxes of the actually wealthy people went down? Do you understand? Do you know that those taxes, those tax cuts are slated to sunset this upcoming year? Unless you're in the top marginal tax rate, unless you're at the tippy top, your taxes are supposed to come back up. I understand that, but my life improved. I don't wish ill on other people. Oh my God. No, it didn't. Okay. You saved $1,000 and you thought, oh my God, how fantastic. It's great. Okay. The problem is, in that process, you got paid, you got literally pennies on the dollar for how much the omega wealthy. It's not $1,000 though, way more. How much money do you make, if you don't mind me asking? Once you combine stocks and income, oh my God. 90% of the stock market is owned by the top 10% of wealth. Oh, okay. You currently make $450 a year. Yeah, no shit, dude. Yeah, of course. Of course you'd be like, of course. Yeah, you're rich as fuck. Of course you would be like, yeah, I want tax cuts. The classic rich guy brain. Never mind. I don't even know. Oh my God. Yeah, of course your taxes went down, chatter. What the fuck are you talking about? You are not the average person. Your current net worth is $450,000. It means you're in, in the top. You're not at you're not the 1%, but you're close to it. Also, broke boy, where the fuck is your sub? What do you mean? You have 450K is your net worth, but you're not even fucking peppering the goddamn community with some gifted subs? Pay up. If your yearly income or your net worth overall or your yearly income is $450,000, yes, of course, you're rich as fuck. My job is to try and convince you, as someone who makes a lot more than you do, that it is actually wiser to ensure that we, people like ourselves, okay, and people a lot wealthier than both of us combined, times a million, pay a lot more in taxes. Okay? Because if we pay more in taxes, especially those who have parked all of their assets in the stock market, if we give back more to the government, okay, ultimately, the goal is the government can spend more on social safety nets, on fixing the infrastructure, and ultimately, society will be better overall. I'm afraid that if they increase my taxes, I might never own. Okay. Oh my God. This has got to be bait, man. I can't. I don't understand what you're budgeting on. If you're making $450K a year and you can't purchase a fucking home when the home prices are $2 to $3 million. Like, just get an apartment, dog, I think. I don't know. Is tied up in Hawk Tua coin. Look up costs in Silicon Valley. Bitch, I live in Los Angeles. You think I don't know how fucking inflated the housing market is? That's so funny. Hasan would know, he lives in LA. Exactly. Yeah, no, I trust me, I know. I live in a inflated a price inflated home. I bought it with a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I know. And as someone who is incredibly fortunate, I hate this kind of nonsense. I hate this, we need to do more fucking tax cuts nonsense. He's missing the point here. All he's arguing is that housing should be better now that tax cuts are good. Yeah. The problem is, here's the contradiction, okay? You have a lot of assets in the stock market. You make $450,000 a year. You feel, understandably, like you're a part of this. And in some ways you are. You are in the top 10% of wealth. So you, of course, have a lot of motion in the stock market. So when the stock market is doing well, your net worth goes up. Okay? The problem is, in order for society, in order for Americans across the board to have a better outcome overall, we need to break this a little bit. The system that has been quite fortuitous for someone like yourself and even someone like myself. I'll give you one example. You're frustrated by the home prices, $2 to $3 million. The homes are $2 to $3 million over here. When in reality, part of the problem, at least in the Bay Area, is that there are a lot of homes that people are just sitting on. And also, I guess the Bay Area is one of the only places where, like, I would say zoning deregulation is a necessity. But the reality of the matter is people are just simply not building houses. There is no mechanism. There's a shit ton of Airbnbs. People are not building houses. There is no mechanism to bring the housing prices down so that someone like yourself and many others can purchase homes, or someone like yourself or many others who work in the companies that you either have a vested interest in and stocks in can actually continue to hire people. It brings everything's it is very consequential. It's very important. It brings the price of everything up. If home ownership is impossible and rent is unsustainable, then you have to increase the wages as well. But when you increase the wages, so much of that still goes back directly into the pockets of landlords. Our entire system is designed to constantly eke out profit. And because of that, nobody wants to turn around and actually do things that are deflationary in nature. Blow up any of these bubbles, if you will. NIMBY zoning, boomer Airbnb, private equity, simply viewing houses as an asset to begin with. Exactly. This is the issue. And Trump is not going to do that. He's just going to keep cutting taxes further, which is going to contribute to this problem even further. That is the issue here. The contradiction is dumbasses are always fear-mongering about inflation, but when they bitch about taxation, which reduces the money supply, thereby reducing inflation as well, but only see inflation as being a problem when poor people get checks and not when rich-ass people get tax breaks. Exactly. Tax cuts are inflationary. It is the only fiscal policy that is allowed in the American Congress. And it's inflationary. And the only deflationary mechanism can come not from Congress, because God forbid you increase taxes and reduce the money supply that way. The only deflationary mechanism could come in the form of monetary policy. If you're thinking sector by sector, one of the immediate deflationary policies that you can engage with would be to readjust the housing market by making the government compete against the pre-existing inventory of houses by building fucking public housing. Build socialized housing immediately, instantly. God forbid, though, we do that, because that would mean that people who currently own homes, that use their homes as an asset, as their nest egg, as their retirement fund, as an asset to leverage against, those people would hate that, because the house prices would go down, and therefore they'd be sitting on these fucking insanely inflated mortgages at that in that frame, where all of a sudden their collateral has gone away and they're paying these incredibly expensive mortgages for an asset that no longer has that same value. The system has to fundamentally change. We do not treat housing as an asset when it comes down to protecting people's home values. Even though if it was simply seen as an asset, then yeah, sometimes you're going to fucking make a gamble and you're going to lose on that gamble. That's the issue. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a world where you're like, well, I invested in this company and it went under. What the fuck? The government needs to protect this company now. It's ridiculous. That's just not true. Look up how much goes in taxes, how much down payment you needed for a $3 million home, and how much the monthly payment at 6% rates after the 20% down payment, how much you need dependents, and so on and so forth. Wait, what? Oh, you're not responding to me. You're responding to someone else. Yeah. What happened to risk? Everybody wants to have it both ways. Everybody wants to act like housing is shelter when it comes to demanding that the government protect this asset, but everybody also treats it doubly as an asset, as a risky investment. It makes no dang sense. If it's an asset, doors open. If it's an investment, sometimes you're going to lose money on that investment. You know, you took the risk. If it's simply shelter, then you don't care. You're going to sit on it anyway. You have a fucking house. That's it. This man making $450K a year still has not peppered the chat to win over their favor by showering all of you with gifted subs, by the way. I am noticing that gifted subs have not come in from broke boy over here. Dude, having combos like that, it just reminds me of how little things will change. Like, it truly, like, how the fuck, brother, you make $450,000 a year and you still want tax cuts? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And you complain that you can't buy a house, not realizing that the reasons why you can't buy a house is partially because of the hyper individualistic nature of Americans who think, well, what the fuck? House prices are going to go down? Are you kidding me? That's like my net worth. That my entire net worth is associated with it. I've taken mortgages out against this. It's my leverage. You're like, oh no, the stock market might go down. If the stock market goes down, then my net worth goes down. Then I definitely can't buy a house. Okay. Not recognizing that when there is more readily available funds for people in your fucking price point that are, you know, purchasing these $2 to $3 million houses, if nothing is done about the supply and the demand is automatically increased because of the tax cuts, well, what do you think is going to happen to the fucking housing market then? You know? Yeah, you get tax cuts, you have more take-home pay, okay? Stock market is supercharged. Now you got more money. Now, you know who else has more money? All the other people that are one bracket above you. They have more money, even more money than you. Now they're going to buy their fucking third house. But hey, don't worry. You'll be able to rent it from that guy who's one income bracket above you, you know? Meanwhile, the conversation is so silly because there's hella people. There are the overwhelming majority of Americans, like 97% of Americans are nowhere near that level of wealth. And they're fucking starving and suffering. And some of those motherfuckers voted for this dipshit who's like, yep, we're going to do tax cuts. The other part of that argument, going back to that one chatter, the other part of that argument is like, listen. If people lose their house value, okay, if the housing market, if the average home price goes down and a lot of the homeowners lose, okay, a shit ton of the value, but in the process, more people actually have an opportunity to purchase homes, or rent prices go down as well as a consequence of more readily available inventory. This is overall good for every American. Just like if this is overall good for America in general, when there's more safety and more security for our fellow Americans, they live happier lives. They're more productive laborers. We become more competitive in the global marketplace. Like, this is the problem. It comes from it basically creates stability and it makes America a better country. But because we're so hyper focused on our own pockets that we just never even close our eyes and dream of a better future for all Americans, and how that might be beneficial for us in the long run. My goal is not to change the unequal exchange dynamic that America has enforced upon the global South, but instead to punish the poorest of the labor aristocracy. Okay? This is how we will win. It's not permanent first world genocide. It's actually permanent first world genocide just for the American poor. It's great. Yeah, we must liberate the world by punishing the American working poor, okay? All the while, the American wealthy, that are the most successful parasitic force on the planet. Yeah, people be like, my issue is with the American people, not with its governance. I want to punish the large majorities of the American poor. Fuck the American bourgeois. Bay Area engineer here, not disagree with you on the tax situation, but I don't think the really rich people here are stacking $2 to $3 million homes here. Yeah, it's not actually the really rich people stacking it. It's fucking private equity. And renting it out to people like 450K guys or me, they're buying $10 million plus homes. The bourgeoisie. The labor aristocracy must suffer for its crimes. Coastal blue state professionals never got a tax cut. Trump raised taxes on 200 to 500K earners and eliminated SALT deduction. That chatters was dumb as fuck. I mean, he seems to think that he earned it. He seems to think that he got more take-home pay. The 200 to 500K bracket went from 33 to 35%, and on 450K, you're paying 45K in CA taxes. You no longer got a federal deduction for that, so there's another 15K in taxes. When is enough money enough for these people that they can't spend time helping working class? There's never. That's not a real concept. There's no such thing. It's never enough. In 2018, Jeff Bezos became the first centibillionaire. Now Elon's net worth is $360 billion. It's crazy to think about this. Yeah, don't worry. All of that will go away when the global market collapses. Okay? Because all those guys and their net worth is entirely tied to the stock market. So when that goes pee-pee poof,